Good evening. We'll go to stores, and it says, and some specialists claim products, the situation with products is getting better. So some natives of Moscow and St. Petersburg decided not to stand in long lines today and decided to come out to the squares. One cannot decide political problems at rallies, but they can gain a lot of attention at rallies. Moscow, 23rd of October, the Monitor Square. It's cold, but there are 50,000 people assembled here. They demand only bread so far. Skeptics say this is just the beginning. Once the winter comes, you'll see some more. But there's a lot to see here. The empty shelves of Moscow, unemployment, unresolved privatization of living quarters, raising of prices. All this is leading to infuriating the population. I need 1,000 rubles a month to feed my child. For 35 years I've been worked here, and I get a very low pension. I can't live on this pension. Some politicians see some potential in this unrest for themselves. The political rally is being led by Moscow trade unions, called Unity of Action. The organization of trade unions is called Unity of Action. They want to guarantee an indexation of price hikes. People are tired of the lack of commodities, of bread. They're also tired of empty talk. What do you want from this political rally? You know, just because the people are tired of these talks, that's why they came to this political rally. This is our last opportunity to be heard. If we are not heard, afterwards there might be a major strike. We don't want to come to a strike, but we would rather resolve our problems at a conference. A strike is the next step. What about beyond the strike? Well, if a strike doesn't work, then we have to change the people who are in control, who are in authority. I want to cite the chairman, Mr. Zerhovsky, who believes that with the price reforms, we must change the prices for raw materials. But consumer prices should be left the same. Consumer prices should be the same, and the prices for raw materials should be changed. It looks like a scissor crisis will once again develop, as did in the 1920s. We want to give you the results of the Sunday poll conducted by the Sociological Society of Moscow. 42% of those polled believe that changes in society after the coup, that there were no changes. 24% believe that the situation has improved. 20% believe the situation has gotten worse. Will the Union Parliament have an ability to change the situation? After an extended argument, discussion, a list was made of those who will work on a constant basis. A parliamentary committee. Labor and social questions, ecology, human rights, armed forces, regulations of the chambers of the parliament. These were all topics for discussion, lengthy discussions at the parliament today. One more point about the quorum. The quorum prevented the composition of the final list of the permanent composition of the Permanent Parliamentary Commission. The project of the Russian Constitution The Constitutional Commission of the Russian Federation decided to present Yeltsin the task of working on this. 26th and 27th October from 10 to 1900 in the Georgian Hall, there will be a conference resolving constitutional issues. In the open session of the Supreme Soviet, there was a soft vote to choose candidates for the Supreme Soviet of Russia. The vote would take place on the 20th of October. The Speaker of the House, Bulatov, had 65 votes. The Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee of Security had 26 votes. Republic news. The Crimean SSR, a republic who's regained its autonomy, is seeking a place in the former Union. They will have presidential elections initially and a referendum afterwards about the constitutional act of turning the Crimea over to the Ukraine. We demand a Crimean referendum before the 24th of November. Questions which stood before the deputies is fighting the struggle against crime, about the development of the agro-industrial complex. But the project of the Crimean referendum was the most important issue. A group of deputies demanded the resolution of this issue about the referendum. They felt that after the initiation of the law, there will be a referendum on the fate of the Crimea. Shall the Crimea remain part of the Ukraine? Shall it be independent? Shall it return back to Russia as it was before 1954? Or perhaps it should be an independent democratic nation. The chairman of the Presidium stood forth of the Presidium of the Ukraine, Kravchuk. He tried to resolve some issues which worry the natives of Crimea. He says the Ukraine is ready to sign the decisions of this conference after it reviews it. But he insisted that the agreement between the Ukraine and Russia is inviolable, and the boundaries of the Ukraine will remain the same. But the Crimea can have some of its own laws and some local government rights. The deputies decided to review the referendum only initially at the moment. The Dniester area will not vote for the Moldavian president. The Predniester Republic is unconstitutional. Our republic has declared its independence from Moldavia, said the leader of the Predniester area. There will be a referendum in this area about the independence and choosing its own president. Illegal was this action was called by the authorities. The Tatar Union, its parliament, opened today and was protected by the police to protect it from disorder. It was trying to resolve economic issues and discussing an act about state independence. It was represented by national organizations, and the deputies decided to create a commission to create a single act of independence of Tatarstan. In Georgian villages, in the Caucasian area, there was shots fired, artillery was fired and ruined some homes and agricultural areas. 6 were injured. And heavy artillery is used, and lots of weapons are being used in the Ossetia area. Ossetia, that's part of in the Caucasus, is demanding a declaration of emergency in the area. Different republics are deciding on what factors will determine citizenship. That's part of the reason the Russians are leaving the Baltic area. Will this same trend continue in the Asiatic republics? This is Dushanbe. This road was the road used by the Slavic minorities who came to this republic in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And so the time is changing.